With the brand new, shining new, styling new Corvair.
In the 1960s, consumerism becomes the dominating value. Money wins, especially USA money. It offers freedom. You can be an individual. You can measure your individuality by the consumer objects that surround you and reflect yourself back to yourself. We are offered the world. Material security, economic wealth, an object-infested lifestyle. We know consumerism isn't the only thing that makes life worth living, but we learn to live with the unease and doubt that results from going along with it. Everything seems simultaneously confident and unhinged. This feeling is first communicated in art by pop art. After the 1950s, we're uncertain about sincerity. There's a change from belief in higher values, even if we're uncertain how to express them, to accepting that we don't really believe anything. Why shouldn't consumerism and advertising and pop values be right in art, instead of being the sign of humanity's low motivations that art's always got to be resisting? I think what we are now, what we want out of life, what matters to us, the idea that there is no reliable truth except that nothing is true, is all here in the beginnings of pop art 50 years ago. The transition from the 1950s mind to the 1960s. Surface and not depth, raising an ironic eyebrow at the old high-mindedness. This is our early beginning moment. It's us looking at our own disillusion. The abstract expressionists were profoundly disillusioned with modern society. But we're a bit disillusioned with their disillusion. We don't necessarily want that heavy moral cloud over our heads all the time. Robert Rauschenberg does paintings that reflect uncertainty because they only take about half an hour. Bits of consumer rubbish are chucked in. Need some circles? Chuck in a real clock. It's like he asks, why does it have to be moral to be important? Why can't just being random be important? Why stare earnestly into a dematerialized void to find values? You can glance ironically at Elvis. A wealth of riddles of modern existence will immediately well up. Andy Warhol gets a celebrity mass media image into a big blank space. The uncertainty is that you're not sure what's the status of this. We used to have saints in art, and now we have Elvis. And what is it? Is it a painting or is it a photo? Is Elvis in it because he's important or because he's not important? One is right, two must be even righter. Is that right? It's not just the status of Elvis that you're uncertain about the status of anything. The pop answer to the question that the ancient Greeks used to ask the gods, how shall we live, is there between the lines of Roy Lichtenstein's ironic thought balloon. Stop worrying about high and low. Are they really opposites anymore? Aren't there values in the throwaway? Don't values change all the time? Question, why did the popists do it? In one word, to be opposite. The abstract expressionists are emotionally heavy. The popsters do something we simply can't tell what the emotion is. The popsters accept the principle of challenge, but they don't see why the only way to be challenging is to be brow-furrowingly worried about why man is base, why wars exist, what history and tradition teach us, and to be always damning society. Instead, the popsters want to be cruising through society in a new mood of elegant, discombobulated, amusing, fragmented forgetfulness. You might not like that, but admit it. Isn't that really you? At first, pop art describes civilization relaxing, and then existence becomes more and more like pop art. Our
world is all appearances and surfaces. We learn not to accept anything at face value and to expect everything to be subtly other than how it seems. We ask art now to show us this game of changing values, to show old taboos being tested. Our art approaches sincerity like pop art approaches it. Any style is acceptable and all styles are playful.